गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम्। Let there be peace, let there be peace and love amongst all the human beings of the universe. Let there be peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have started the contemplation revision on the 14th chapter, that is story of Gadhi. Gadhi is the very pious Brahmin, and he used to stay in the Koshala country and a very virtuous person. And what he did is he was meditating on the Lord Vishnu, and when he was meditating on the Lord Vishnu, Vishnu asked him, gave him a darshana, asked him for a desired boon, and the boon which he has asked is, let me know the illusionary power of the Supreme Spirit that has been asked by the Vishnuji. So, asked to Vishnu by Gadhi, and then Vishnuji has granted him the boon, and he said, Tathastu, you will see the illusionary power, and accordingly, what happened is when once the Gadhi was under the water for purpose of bathing, then he saw that he is dead in his house, surrounded by his king's men, and thereafter the king's men took him to the his corpse to the cremation ground. They reduced it to the ashes, and then he has seen himself to be born in outcast as Hunas or barbarians, wherein his relatives were dying, so he became very miserable, and because he became miserable, he came and stood on the royal highway of the Kiras, that is present day Kashmir. And in the Kashmir, that king was dead, and there used to be procedure that elephant will go around and then pick up a person who will become a king. So elephant picked this Gadhi uh, by his trunk and made him seated on the back with a delight. Kettle drums sounded and verily become the king of Kiraz as a Gavala, and there he has ruled for around 8 years, respected by the ministers. And once the one certain outcast has seen him there, and he said. Uh, He said, "Oh, I'm very lucky to see you as a king here." And after listening that, he all his ministers, women, they were feeling unhappy. How can we worked under the king who is a outcast, Hunas or barbarian? So they created a fire, and all of them jumped, not one to three. Almost 200 people jumped into that fire, and because of that, this Gawla oblique Gadhi became very unhappy, and then he was about to jump, and then he came out of that delusion. And then when he came out of the delusion, he has understood this is only a Prabhu's Maya. And then he was pondering, who am I? What possibly do I see? What indeed did I do? Likewise, he was thinking, and at the same time, one Brahmin came to his place, his friend, and he was very weak-bodied. So Raja asked him, "How come you become weak-bodied?" He said, "I recently coming from the Kira's place, that is Kashmir," and he told all the story what has been happened to this Gadhi when he was under the water. Gadhi was very surprised. How can he know this story? So then, without talking to him, then he went to that Kira's place and found that really it is everything has happened there. And he ruled there for 8 years and all those stuff he has understood. So he was astonished how the things which has came in mind has come to the reality. And then again he started contemplating on the Vishnu, and Vishnu gave him the darshana, and then Vishnu started telling the Updesh, that is now today we are going to see the Updesh. भगवान उद्देश्य श्री भगवान उवाच चित्तस्य हि पृथिवीवादी नभैस्त कदाचन स्वप्न भ्रम प्रदार्थेषु सर्वमानुभूयते. The earth and the like are only the element in the mind, never at any time exist separately. They are not separate, they are experienced just by everyone in the delusion objects of the dream. यत्र अनन्तजगज्जालं संस्थिता तेन चेतसा दर्शितं शप च त्वं चेत तदात्र विस्मयकृत्. If by that mind where the endless delusion of the world is situated, the state of outcast has been displayed, then where is the astonishment in this matter? यथा श्वपचता दृष्टा प्रतिभास वशत्वया तथैवातिथिमायातं दृष्टवानस्य संभ्रमे. As the state of being an outcast was pursued by you through the influence of illusion, so also you have seen the guest who has erred in that illusion. So Bhagavan is explaining that whatever he has seen under the water now, because of same delusion, this man has also come. तथा अनुस्तरं प्राप्य दृष्टोऽसि प्राक्तवं ध्रुवं तथा कीरेषु राजत्वं दृष्टवान् प्रतिबिम्बितं. Thus you have seen the former residence and reached the place of Unas. So have you seen the kingsmen of the Kira reflected in the mind that caused the delusion? कदाचित् प्रथेभैव नाम विजायते तनैव सन्निवेशेन स्वपचोप्यभवत्पुरा. At some time or the other, one light, that is one consciousness alone, is born as that of the many. Only by the deep entrance of proximity the outcast also came into existence formally. So, Sakira-nupati bhutva praviveshandalam tatha tavabhuta kevalam chitta swasambhaditaya hi tat. Having become the king of Kiras, he then entered into the fire. That indeed happened solely in your mind due to the self-relatedness. This also happened due to self-relatedness. That is what has been told here. श्लोक नंबर 35 ज्ञानस्य परिपूर्णत्वात् न शक्नोषि मनोभ्रमात् विनिवारयितुं तेनैवाक्रम्यसे क्षणात्. Due to the lack of fullness of knowledge, you are not able to ward off the mental delusion. On account of that, you are overpowered in the moment by the very delusion. तप करुत्वमुत्थाय ततो ज्ञानमवाप्स्यति इत्युक्तं तक्तसङ्कल्प गादि तत्रो करोत्तप आत्मचिन्तनरूपं च मनोभ्रमं निवर्तते दशवर्षाणि तनोऽसौ आत्मज्ञानम् अवाप्यवान् जीवन्मुक्तपदं प्राप्य वीतशोको बभूव च. This is श्लोक number 36 and 37. Having risen, you perform the penance, spiritual enlightenment, then you will again gain the knowledge. Thus told Gadhi with his wishes. Imagination given up, did penance there for 10 years in the form of reflection on the self for the cessation of mental delusion. By that penance, he obtained knowledge of the self and attended to the state of liberation while living. He became free from sorrow. So, what has been done now is Gadhi, when he came to know that whatever the delusion which is occurring under the water, same thing has been reflected in the Kira's place just because of your own mind. So that has been told here. So he meditated on that to know the truth. एवं एषाति वितता दुर्ज्ञान रघुनंदन परमात्माश्रया माया महामोहकारिणी सदा चित्ताक्रमदमात्र तु परमातौषधरुते प्रयत्नेनापि संसार महारोगेण शम्यति. Raghunandana or Rama. Thus, in this incomprehensible illusion, depending on the Supreme Self, spread out the exceedingly, causing great delusion always. The great disease of worldly existence is indeed not extinguished even by continuous effort, without the most excellent medicine of the mere overcoming of the mind. So, what has been told here is overcoming of the mind is only important. Resting, nothing is going to help you. So that's what has been communicated here. Vartamanam krayatam bhajat brahma dhyashanam abhajatam bhavi cha yati chittam achittatam. Accepting the person present from that already in regular course for the moment. To the externalized intellect and not accepting or entertaining the future or past, mind is reduced to the state free from thoughts. So whether you do it or not do it, so mind will be free from thoughts. चेतनं चित्तचिदिक्तं हि रक्ते चेतनमच्युते निर्मनस्क स्वभावस्तु न तत्र कलनामल. The conscious mind emptied of thoughts is indeed called as inherent intelligence. And so because of the inherent nature being free from the thinking mind, there is no tent of thought there. मलं संवेदमुत्सृजं मनो निर्मलयं परम् आशापाशेन अलं चित्वा संविनमात्र करो भवेत् तदेव शीयते मोह संसारभ्रमकारणम्. So, having cast off the dirt of the known, making the mind clear completely, having thoroughly broken ascertain the fetters of the hope, he absorbed in pure consciousness. Then alone in the delusion which is cause of the roaming about in world existence destroyed. So, existence itself got destroyed because of that. Further three more shlokas are there, and then we'll see the meaning of that. Anatmanatma bhavena mamekamiti bhavata ahankara vikerena chitodashyati pinatam. By the idea of the self in the non-self, because of the feeling this is mine and by the melody of egoism, mind becomes solar. Moment you increase the egotism, mind will definitely become a solar. Yeya deya vivagena samashvasena sanskrito Snehena Ghanalobena Chita Gashiti Chinaka. By the division of what is fit to be abandoned and what is fit to be received, by trust in worldly life, by attached and by greed for the wealth, the mind becomes hollow with